Hey folks, this is Curtis Brown, your instructor for HSEP 302. I know it's been a while since I did a video, so I thought I would do one this week. This is on our syllabus, week 9. It's the second week of our week focusing on response. And I think the last time I did a video was prior to spring break and prior to the midterm. So hope everyone had a fun and safe spring break and is back and ready to finish off the rest of this semester. Just want to recap a couple of things since I hadn't posted a video in a while. The final exam, overall, everyone did pretty well. Next time, take your time on some of the questions. Of course, when you have multiple choice questions, there's one question that's close to being true, but it's not true, so you need to target in on the correct question. For the memo, my feedback is we can probably improve overall in terms of writing a memo. Again, a memo is not a letter. It is written in third person. It's structured in a way that clearly identifies the information being sought. So if I send you a memo related assignment, make sure that every question asked is answered in the memo. So if you received a 20 or 17 and above, your structure and your tone was more consistent with what a good memo looks like. Within a professional setting, memos is how we communicate. If we're writing a letter, it's a letter, but internally, it's how work is done and communicated. And in this scenario that I had for you all, you were an emergency management director down in Florida, where there was a mass shooting last year at the high school and community dealing with sea level rise and recurrent flooding. And so the task was to take the textbook reading and apply it in a memo format and provide guidance on what the city manager could do and suggest to the mayor and city council. So I was looking for you to take some of the reading directly related to planning, to coordination with local law enforcement and the schools to develop a process to minimize the threat or mitigate the threat of an active shooter situation. That included training, exercises, drills. Many of you all pointed that out. For the question about the flooding, wanted you to talk about the mitigation programs, possibly relocating communities if possible, encouraging homeowners to get flood insurance. So applying your reading to the memo. And so expect to see a memo question on the final. And again, I hope that everyone can improve. Again, a memo is not a letter. It's in third person. So a lot of you all was writing it like a traditional letter using I, you, me. It's a unique form of writing where you do not write I, you, or me. You write in third person. So I'll probably try to provide some more examples of good memos and how to write that way. It's standard government writing, where you write as a subject matter expert and you write in a tone where it is, again, not a letter. So the grades are posted for most of the exams. I think I got one or two that still need to be graded. I promised to have that done by Monday. I think I took until today to finish all of them, so my apologies on the delay. But again, I think everyone is in pretty good shape and do not need to drop the course because of the exam. The discussion board questions, I'm still finalizing grading those. but you all have been tracking your own participation in the discussion board, so you should have a good sense of where you are in that respect. Remember that a discussion board post, you get 10 points for your initial post, and then 5 points each for responding or reflecting to two of your classmates. So it's a total of 20 points each week. The way I'm loading these into Blackboard, if you have 100 points, you're in good shape, and you met all the requirements, because we had 5 different discussion board posts this first half of the semester. For instance, if you missed a week and you didn't post anything and you didn't respond to anyone, that's 80. If you miss 1 week out of the 5, that's 80 points. And so that's the way it's set up. I won't be doing the official calculations until later in the semester, but again, go back to the syllabus and you recognize that your discussion board questions are worth 20% of your grade. 25% of your grade. So it's a pretty big chunk of the grade. So again, continue to do your discussion board questions, and I will upload the rest of the grades over the course of the next day or two, so everyone has it. This is a good time also to remind everyone to be completing your FEMA certifications. Again, I will not ask for those to be submitted until May 4th, but you should be completing those and hopefully have those in prior. I will not provide any extension because you had the whole semester to do that. So IS 100, 235, 700, 800, and again, that's available through FEMA. If you have any questions, please let me know. A lot of those, what you learn through those FEMA certifications will help and complement the readings, and so that's why I plug them into the agenda for different weeks. Okay, so let's catch up on our discussion board questions. Last week, we started our focus on response, and there was a discussion board question. You had the textbook reading. You also had the article about how the response in Hurricane Maria compared to Harvey and Irma, and also the blackout in Puerto Rico. That article documents the historic 2017 hurricane season, where the nation faced 3 major storms. One storm, Irma, devastated Puerto Rico. Harvey inundated Texas and areas around there. So it definitely was a historic year in that respect. And I also had you watch a video, Hurricane Katrina, the storm, produced by PBS, to talk about the devastation from Hurricane Katrina, the most devastating and costly hurricane to impact the country. So looking over the course of the last 15 years, you see that the nation has faced these massive, extreme, and devastating storms. And this is why our response is so important. It's the coordination of the multi-governmental effort, state, federal, local, whole of community, nonprofit, private, even citizens, to respond, to minimize the loss of life, and to lessen the impact on critical infrastructure, our water systems, our power network, our hospitals, our schools, etc. And so the textbook reading really talks about the different roles and responsibilities. It talks about the national response plan, who's responsible for what. It identifies the mechanism for locals and states to request support. Again, one of the important things to understand about emergency management, it is probably one of the best examples of federalism. All emergencies are local, so the local first responders and local emergency managers are particularly responsible when an event occurs, but when their capabilities are maxed, they're unable to fulfill the mission. They ask for support from the state. The state provides support, personnel, resources, funding. When the state's resources are tapped because of how extreme the emergency is, we ask for support from FEMA. So the readings from last week and the textbook readings really focus on that system of federalism and support and the responsibilities of state, local, and federal. And one important point in this is command and control and communication. How do we communicate in a similar fashion so we're all saying the same thing? This is where the incident command system is really key. The National Incident Man system